Veshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavate uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati neshtike Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Maevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 3, Chapter 19, Text 34. Text 34. Anyesham punya shloka nam udama yashasam satam upashrutya bhaven modaha shivatsang kasya kim punaha. What to speak of hearing the pastimes of the Lord, whose chest is marked with Srivatsa, people may take transcendental pleasure even in hearing of the works and deeds of the devotees, whose fame is immortal. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Bhagavatam literally means the pastimes of the Lord and the Lord's devotees. For example, there are pastimes of Lord Krishna and narrations of devotees like Prahlad, Dhruva, and Ambarish Maharaj. Both pastimes pertain to the Supreme Personality of Godhead because the devotees' pastimes are in relation with Him. The Mahabharata, for example, the history of the Pandavas and the activities is sacred because the Pandavas had a direct relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we can see the pure devotees, their pastimes are all connected to the Supreme Lord. When we speak of Dhruva Maharaj, immediately we remember, oh, how he did meditation and the Lord appeared to him, a great devotee. We say Prahlad Maharaj, oh, how Lord Nishangadev protected him. So we can see that why we are always talking about the pure devotees, because their pastimes, their activities are always connected with the Supreme Lord. And here it said Bhagavatam means the pastimes of the Lord and Lord's devotees. So it is very pleasurable. Lord Chaitanya, he would hear Bhagavatam from Gadadhar Pandit every day when he was in Jagannath Puri. And when Gadadhar Pandit would come to the part of Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruva Maharaj, Lord Chaitanya would hear it with so much relish that the pastime would finish and Lord Chaitanya would request Gadadhar Pandit, you repeat it, repeat the pastime. And the same pastime, back to back, he would hear, a couple of times. He would hear it with so much relish, Lord Chaitanya. So, And of course, it was mentioned that Mahabharata is also so sacred because the Pandavas are there, the devotees of the Lord, because Krishna is there, Bhagavad Gita is there. That's the reason Mahabharata is so important. Yoga Jendram Jasagrastam Dhyayantam Charanambujam Kroshantinam Karenunam Krichrato Mochayadrutam. The personality of Godhead delivered the king of the elephants, who was attacked by an alligator and who meditated upon the lotus feet of the Lord. At that time, the female elephants who accompanied him were crying, and the Lord saved them from the impending danger. The example of the elephant in danger who was saved by the Supreme Lord is especially cited here because even if one is an animal, he can approach the personality of Godhead in devotional service, whereas even a demigod cannot approach the Supreme Person unless he is a devotee. So the Gajendra surrendered to the Lord. What does it mean? That, oh my God, my dear Lord, I can't do this by myself. I need your help. That is surrender. Gajendra was trying for thousands of years to fight the crocodile, but he couldn't. Then finally he remembered the prayers of his previous life. He was King Indradyumna in previous life. And he remembered those prayers and he started chanting those prayers. And Lord Vishnu came on the Garuda to save him. That is what it is. Like Draupadi, she tried and tried by herself to save herself. She went appealed to her husband. She appealed to everyone in the assembly when she was being disrobed. Nobody helped her. But as soon as she called Krishna, he immediately came. So we should call out to Krishna in that mood of Draupadi when we are chanting. Should call out to Krishna. Krishna, I want to be with you. In that mood, with that feeling. That's what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, that we should chant with feeling. Tam sukharadhyam rujubhir ananya sharaner nirbihe pratyagya kovas seveta taradhyam ashadubihi. What grateful soul is there who would not render his loving service to such a great master as the personality of Godhead? The Lord can be easily pleased by spotless devotees who resort exclusively to him for protection, though the unrighteous man finds it difficult to propitiate him. Every living entity, especially persons in the human race, must feel grateful for the benedictions offered by the grace of the Supreme Lord. So each of us need to offer our gratitude to the Supreme Lord, because everything is given to us by him. We think we are the ones who's working to get whatever we have gotten. But it's all by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. It's all by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, anyone with a simple heart of gratefulness must be Krishna conscious and offer devotional service to the Lord. Those who are actually thieves and rogues do not recognize or acknowledge the benedictions offered to them by the Supreme Lord, and they cannot render him a devotional service. Just by feeling grateful to the Lord, when we're grateful to the Lord for everything he has given us, everything he has done for us, everything. Every morning he wakes us up. We sleep at night with the faith that he will wake us up in the morning, and he does do that. So there's so much to be grateful for, so much. And we should recognize this. We should recognize that how much Krishna is doing for us and just offer gratitude. Otherwise, we are like ungrateful, then ungrateful, then that's why our heart has become so hard. And so gradually, when we chant more and more, we can understand. We can understand that how much Krishna is actually giving us. Ungrateful persons are those who do not understand how much benefit they are deriving by the arrangement of the Lord. They enjoy the sunshine and moonshine, and they get water free of charge. Yet they do not feel grateful, but simply go on enjoying these gifts of the Lord. Therefore, they must be called thieves and rogues. So Prabhupada is saying here, for the sun, moon, imagine if Krishna sends us a bill every month. Now, of course, we do get water bill because we stay in the buildings. But the water, the rainfall, suppose Krishna charges us, okay, this much moonshine, you have to pay X amount. This much rain, you have to pay X amount. He doesn't do that. And so we should recognize and recognize it, be grateful for it, and express our gratitude. Bhakti is an expression of our gratitude to Krishna, an expression of our love for Krishna. That is what is bhakti. That is what is devotional service, where we are expressing our love. Is that okay?
Yes.
Anyone wanted to add anything or comment anything?
This is so beautiful and so important.
Yeah.
Like, I was listening to one of the lectures of the Radha Govind Maharaj yesterday, and he also said the same thing. He mentioned the same things, that the water, every time that we drink water, we should be thankful to Krishna while drinking it, because the taste is Krishna in the water. And every time we feel the air, we breathe in, we should try to thank Krishna. That's how we will remember him. And we can be grateful in these things.
Yes.
And I think this is so beautiful. Like what you mentioned, everything is so beautiful. Like, but we are like the spoiled children who are taking him for granted, that, this is just all for granted. We are like the spoiled children.
Now, when I go to the park, and then we have to wear the mask, right? So then it makes me feel, oh my God, it's such a luxury just to be able to breathe in fresh oxygen without the mask.
Yes.
It's such a privilege. It's such a, when you just breathe in fresh air when you're in the park and you feel, oh, wow.
So see, wearing a mask, like COVID, we had to come up to this point to realize that importance. None of us knew that importance until the masks were compulsory for everything.
Yeah, that's what, right? Then when the naughty children don't hear, and what the children,
like
their
us,
parents do, they'll give them a spanking on the back,
Yeah, and that spanking is also good for us.
Yeah,
that spanking is also for our good.
Yeah,
this is like that beautiful story of the horse, that the man and like his son and horse, like he used to live at the border, and then the two horses came, and then everybody in the village said, oh wow, you have got so many horses, then wow, no, you're so lucky you got a horse. What happened? How come you got a horse? And then he said, it's whatever, it's Krishna's will, good or bad, it's Krishna's will. And then again, then the horse ran away, and then everybody was, oh, so bad happened to you, your horse ran away. He said, still, whatever, good or bad, it's Krishna's will. And then again, his son fell down from the horse, and then the horse came back with the 11 horses. And then everybody said, oh wow, you're so lucky, you have 11 horses now. So he said, it's all Krishna's will, good or bad, it's all Krishna's will. And then his son fell from the horse, and then he broke his leg, and then everybody was, oh, your son broke his leg, oh, so sad. He said, sad or good, it's all Krishna's will. And then their war broke out, and then everybody in the town, the young boys, had to go for the war, but only his son didn't go because his leg was broken. And then still, even then, everybody said, oh, you're so lucky. And still he said, it's all Krishna's will, good or bad. So we have to hold on to him. Good or bad, just wait. It's just passing by. This will just come because this is our life. But we don't have to forget to thank him, like as you mentioned. We have to be grateful. We have to show our gratitude. No matter good or bad, it's all his will. It has to be best.
Thank you for narrating such a nice story, And then what happens? But then the internal struggle happens because we don't want to accept his will. We don't want to accept his will. No, it's so good or it's so bad. But as you said, we just have to wait and just accept his will, good or bad.
No, but as I remember, as you mentioned once, that never mind, we might feel bad, but then we can tell it to Krishna. I am feeling bad, but I need your help. I cannot handle this.
Yeah.
I don't know how to react to the situation, and it is out of my control. So please give me the knowledge. Right? I remember you telling us that we have to accept our situations. Whatever we are feeling, we have to be true. Yeah. So I think I have learned this a very good lesson, and I was telling my sister also that no matter what, एक इंसान ऐसा होना चाहिए जिसको आप सब कुछ बोल सको. आपने जितना गंदा करा है, जितना अच्छा करा है, and that is Krishna. That has to be Krishna, because he already knows everything. He's in our heart. He knows everything. हम क्या छुपा रहे हैं? He's just waiting. He's like that father who's waiting कि मेरा बच्चा आके मुझे बोल दे.
So true. Thank you.
So I think that we should just tell him, even if it's wrong, if we are jealous, if we are envy, it doesn't matter. We have to be true to him. We have to tell him.
Yeah. So true. So true. Thank you.
Yeah. This was really beautiful. I mean, this is just a small paragraph. It doesn't even, but this is so important. Yeah. Thank you.
So then reading on 37, Yova Hiranyaksha Vadam Mahadbhutam Vikriditam Karana Shukaratmanaha Shranoti Gayati Anumodate Anjasa Vimuchyate Brahma Vadad Apidvijaha. O Brahmanas, anyone who hears, chants, or takes pleasure in the wonderful narration of the killing of the Hiranyaksha demon by the Lord, who appeared as the first boar in order to deliver the world, is at once relieved of the results of sinful activities, even the killing of a Brahmana. So here comes the benediction. Bhagavatam is full of benedictions. What we have to do is simply we hear the pastimes. And then here there is a benediction. Then anyone who hears, chants, or takes pleasure in this wonderful narration, we are just hearing, we are not even doing anything. Killing of the Hiranyaksha demon, the demon who's killed by Lord Varahadev, who came as the first boar. He's the origin of the boar species, Lord Varahadev. Then what happens just by hearing or by speaking or taking pleasure? At once relieved of the results of sinful activities, even the killing of a Brahmana. So this is how bhakti is. We do not need to do anything else to get rid of our sins. Because in other processes, there are so many other things we have to do, places to go, different things to do to get rid of our sins. But bhakti is like this, just by hearing and chanting, the sins are being gone. And this is the benediction we are getting. Since the personality of Godhead is in the absolute position, there is no difference between his pastimes and his personality. Anyone who hears about the pastimes of the Lord associates with the Lord directly. And one who associates directly with the Lord is certainly freed from all sinful activities, even to the extent of the killing of a Brahmana, which is considered the most sinful activity in the material world. So the Lord Krishna himself, his name, his form, his pastimes, his qualities, his paraphernalia, they are all him, because he's on the absolute platform. He's the Supreme Lord. He's unlimited. And so by hearing about him, by chanting his names, by chanting his glories, we are associating with Krishna. It is Krishna himself. And that is the reason we feel happy. We feel, our hearts feel so full and so blissful. And That's how we are getting purified, because we are associating with Krishna. Association is so important, because we take on the color of the association. We take on the qualities of the people we associate with. And by hearing and chanting about Krishna, we are associating with Krishna. So we are taking on his qualities. That's how we are getting purified. This is bhakti, just associating with Krishna. That's all. There's no separate endeavor. We don't have to do anything difficult, something great. No, we just say Krishna and we are with him. And that is bhakti. And so now it said that we can be freed from the killing of a Brahmana. So does it mean that, okay, let me plan. I'm going to go on I'm going to do so many sinful activities, and then I'll come back and I'll just hear Varahadev's pastime, and then I'll be relieved of all sins. You can't do that, that is intentional. And then that is the seventh offense to the holy name, that committing sins on the strength of the holy name. This is like accidentally if somebody's done it, or even if intentionally, but doesn't do it, that, okay, I'm going to keep committing sins and I'm going to hear Bhagavatam and my sins will go away. So, but what to do? We have so many sinful proclivities in our heart. We have so many material desires to sin. What shall we do? Just continue hearing and chanting. In time, in good time, gradually, they will all go away. Just continue hearing and chanting. Krishna, please take away my desire to sin. And he will. So one should be very eager to hear about the activities of the Lord from a bona fide source, the pure devotee. So when we hear, when we understand, oh, there is a pure devotee doing Krishna Katha, we should be eager. We should be eager to hear about the activities, because this is transcendental sound vibration. It's transcendental. The pure devotee, when he's speaking Krishna, he's seeing Krishna. He is associating with Krishna. And he is giving us Krishna. When we hear that, then it's going in our heart. If one simply gives oral reception to the narration and accepts the glories of the Lord, then he is qualified. What do? We just hear from the bona fide source, from the pure devotee. There are many people who pretend to be devotees of Krishna, but we don't need to hear from the pretenders, because they themselves don't know Krishna. Then how can they give us Krishna? If they themselves don't understand Krishna's position, how will they make us understand? But the pure devotees, they know. They know. And they have heard from the parampara. They have heard from the acharyas. So we should be eager to hear from the devotees. The impersonalist philosophers cannot understand the activities of the Lord. They think that all his activities are Maya. Therefore, they are called Mayavadis. Since everything to them is Maya, these narrations are not for them. Some impersonalists are reluctant to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, although many of them are now taking an interest in it just for monetary gain. Actually, however, they have no faith. On the contrary, they describe it in their own way. We should therefore not hear from the Mayavadis. We have to hear from Sutta Goswami or Maitreya, who actually present the narrations as they are. And only then can we relish the pastimes of the Lord. Otherwise, the effects on the neophyte audience will be poisonous. So the same theme of yesterday, that milk is very nutritious, but if that milk has been touched by a snake, milk is nutritious, but if a snake touches it, it becomes poison. Then we shouldn't drink that milk. Similarly, Krishna Katha Bhagavatam is very, very sweet, very relishable, but we should hear it from the devotees, not from the non-devotees, because the non-devotees misinterpreted, misrepresent the Bhagavatam. They cannot. Now, how do they misinterpret it? Because they think that the activities of the Lord is all Maya. They're not able to understand that the activities of the Lord are transcendental. The activities of his pure devotees, are transcendental. So because they're coming from a platform of Maya, from a platform of material, so then the sound that they're vibrating is also material. It's not transcendental. Yeah, so that's why it's not going to have a change in our heart. It's not going to give rise to the bhakti in our heart. But if we hear from Sutta Goswami or Maitreya Muni, as we are doing now, then what happens? We relish the pastimes because they are telling us the pastimes as they really actually happen. So the transcendental potency is there. And we are able to experience the transcendental potency. It is said that the Bhagavatam is already so sweet, but it's become sweeter. Like, the fruit on a tree, when it's pecked by a parrot, it becomes more sweeter. The parrot pecks the sweet fruit, and the fruit is really very sweet. So Bhagavatam is already so sweet, but because it was spoken by the lips of Sukadev Goswami, who's the parrot of Srimati Radharani, it's become even more sweeter, even more relishable for us. There's a verse earlier on in the first canto of Bhagavatam. So this is the importance, again, of hearing from the devotees. We'll just read this last one. Okay. So 38, Etan Mahapunyam Alam Pavitram Dhanyam Yashyam Padam Ayur Ashisham Pranendriyanam Yudhi Saurya Vardhanam Narayana Antigati Angarshan Vatam. This most sacred narrative confers extraordinary merit, wealth, fame, longevity, and all the objects of one's desire. On the field of battle, it promotes the strength of one's vital organs and organs of action. One who listens to it at the last moment of his life is transferred to the supreme abode of the Lord. Oh dear Shaunak. So this is the potency of Bhagavatam. This is the potency. Just by hearing it as we are hearing now from Sutta Goswami, Sukadev Goswami, we can go back home, back to the spiritual world. Devotees are generally attracted by the narratives of the pastimes of the Lord. And even though they do not prosecute austerities or meditation, this very process of hearing attentively about the pastimes of the Lord will endow them with innumerable benefits, such as wealth, fame, longevity, and other desirable aims of life. If one continues to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, which is full of narratives of the pastimes of the Lord, and at the end of this life, one is sure to be transferred to the eternal, transcendental abode of the Lord. Thus, hearers are benefited both ultimately and for as long as they are in the material world. So the benefit we are getting not only, after you leave the body, you will go back to the spiritual world, but now become wealthy, fame, longevity, and other desirable aims of life. Bhagavatam is giving us both material benefits and the highest benefit, go back home. Thus, hearers, that is the supreme sublime result of engaging in devotional service. The beginning of devotional service is to spare some time and listen to Srimad Bhagavatam from the right source. Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu also recommended 5 items of devotional service, namely 1, to serve the devotees of the Lord, 2, to chant Hare Krishna, 3, to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, 4, to worship the deity of the Lord, and 5, to live in a place of pilgrimage. Just performing these 5 activities can deliver one from the miserable condition of material life. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 3rd canto, 19th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Killing of the Demon Hiranyaksha. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said 5 items for us to live peacefully here, and at the end of life to go back home, back to Godhead. Serve the devotees of the Lord. chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, hear Srimad Bhagavatam, worship the deity of the Lord, live in a place of pilgrimage. But I'm living in a city. How do I live in a place of pilgrimage? But just the desire to live in a Mathura or Vrindavan or Mayapur, Navadvip Dham, just the desire to live in that place is also living in a place of pilgrimage. And Prabhupada would say all our ISKCON temples are Vaikuntha. It's an embassy of the spiritual world. It's an embassy of Golok Vrindavan. Said our temples are all Vaikuntha. They are the Dham. They are Vaikuntha themselves. So just by performing these 5 activities can deliver one from the miserable condition of material life. So we can see the devotees, they are begging us to chant, to engage in bhakti, to hear. Why? They're not going to get anything. It's for us, so that we don't suffer. So that we don't suffer, so that we can feel happy, so we feel blissful. That's the reason, and that's their compassion and love. That's the mood of Shri Shri Gaur Nitai. Engage everyone in chanting and dancing, and let everyone be happy. Okay. Any comments or anything to add? If no, then we'll stop here for today. And thank you so much for listening in. Thank you so much for joining. And so we are really fortunate to be able to hear the Bhagavatam in the association of devotees. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.